Pudge, what time is
It's time for the Chubby Guys Podcast.
Woo!
I'm ready. Taylor Stepp.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello. I mean,
been looking forward to this.
Well, I mean, I've begged him. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
he's the big league. I'm the black sheep
Oh, okay.
of the family.
So there's been some big legging.
Oh, he's been big. How long you been big legging me? A couple years.
Well, here's what happens, all right? So every time you've asked me to be on here, it's like 2 hours notice. I'm like, look, man, I've got to.
Well, this is what I mean. Your family. I figure you know who can you call?
Your people have to talk to my people to get this arranged.
Listen.
A lot of red line calls.
Oh,
Right,
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I always figured I was the outlaw of the Stepp clan. You know, so he just didn't want to be seen with me. He actually told me that I had to wear a collared shirt tonight.
Oh, no.
That's why I wore this.
I didn't get the memo.
Well, I knew that you were safe, but he told me, he said, listen, I'll come on, but you got to wear a collared shirt.
Yeah.
I told you no suits.
You did. Yeah, you did.
No button ups.
Well, I was going to do a tuxedo, so this is.
Yeah.
This is.
Taylor's always been fancy.
Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
No, all day.
I don't know about fancy. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I can't call you fancy.
Yeah.
It's like all three of you kids, though. You and your brother and your sister are perfect. You guys made me look so
Oh.
bad. So
Hey, Pudge, you still heating your house with wood?
hell no, man. It was way too much work. I installed a gas stove, and I've been calling Nimco Gas at 740-596-4477. I also got a hold of them at nimcogas@outlook.com as their email. And I also looked them up on their website, and that's nimcopropane.com. Chad, these guys, they've been delivering gas for over 30 years in our area. Just talked to them last week. They said that their customer base is one of the biggest it's ever been. It's one of the best things I ever did was call Nimco Gas. I got tired of dealing with all that wood. Way too much work.
Nimco.
So bad.
You know what, though? Now let's be honest.
Uh-huh.
A sports coat or a sport coat.
Oh, now we're talking fashion, Chad's all in.
or a suit. Like, is it ever the wrong occasion to wear one of those? Man, I feel like a nice sport coat
Yeah.
really just kind of sets it off. I mean, you can wear it with jeans. Like maybe you're going out for some cocktails, something like that. You know, I mean, I just feel like it really completes any outfit.
So you're saying a random Tuesday night in Jackson?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. My hat's off to the man that'll pull that off.
Now, I think a certain time period, or like, hey, late at night.
Right. Oh, it depends on where you're going.
Depends on where you're
I don't
going.
know that we have like a restaurant / bar cocktail place where a sport coat is appropriate, and that's not necessary. I'm not ripping on Jackson there. I'm just saying I don't know that we really have that type of
That culture.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that there's a place that you would really need to wear a sport coat.
Yeah.
To. I mean,
Well, I had breakfast with Cardiff the other day, and he was going to an interview.
yeah,
And I said, hey, I'd go and put on a sport coat.
yeah,
And he said, a sport coat? I said, yeah, go find one
right.
and put one on.
Right.
I just think if you're going to go interview, you need to look sharp.
At a minimum.
I would not be afraid to put a tie on for an interview.
I wouldn't
You need a
either, but
tie.
that
But now,
seems
you
to-
know what? It has changed.
Yeah, it has.
Like I'll tell you, I mean, the business I'm in has gotten so much more casual.
Hey,
I mean,
you weren't here the other day for JJ, but you got a heck of a compliment.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, Dad even stopped me in the driveway, and he goes, he was pulling out, and he goes, hey, I've been meaning to ask you. He said, Reynolds losing weight?
Oh, yeah, trying.
And I said, yeah, he is. He said, oh, he had a picture of himself in Vegas. He said, he's thinning up. And I said,
yeah, I'm trying to. It's funny, man. We were out there trick or treating tonight, and everybody was like, "Hey, man, what are you sick? You lose weight?" I'm like, God, I hope not. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so. I'm actually trying to lose weight, but the thing is, though, man, like when it's you yourself, like you don't notice that you've lost that much weight.
I can tell.
I mean, like you notice, like, my pants are a little looser, or, shirts fit a little better, but like, you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you're not like, man, I'm losing a lot of weight, but I think I'm down about 35. Hey, are you a business owner looking for insurance coverage? Give this guy a call. You know him, you trust him. Jason Gillum Insurance, 740-395-0190.
Hey guys, on behalf of the Chubbies, huge thanks to Geiger Brothers Construction. Give them a call at 740-286-0800. They've been great community supporters, and they are a friend of the Chubby program, so thank you, Geiger Brothers Construction.
5 pounds.
Nice. Good for you, man.
We'll see.
Yeah?
I mean, keep it going. I figure I'm not getting any younger, so,
Yeah.
I don't want to be you can't weigh 300
Keep it
pounds.
going.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Keep
we'll
it going.
See. We'll see, man.
What are they doing dress code wise in? Are you working in Columbus?
No, I work from my house.
Well, I know you work from your house, but are you like based out of Columbus? Maybe.
No, our office is based.
What
here
do
in the
you do?
region. What do I do? Maybe that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good place to start.
Job title.
Yeah. So I'm in economic development.
Yeah.
So I work for a regional economic development group. So what is economic development, right? Economic development is supporting economic prosperity for a given region. Okay. So my group is regionally focused. I'm responsible for 9 counties in Southern Ohio.
Okay.
What are those counties?
Adams, Gallia, Highland, Lawrence, Jackson, Pike, Ross, Sauter, and Vinton.
Would you quit banging on that table? Did
Sorry.
you hear that? Gee,
Sorry.
It's Taylor.
I played drums this morning, so
You into the percussion mode?
yeah, I'm in
Okay.
percussion mode. Sorry about that. So, yeah, those are in alphabetical order too, because you can't offend anybody, right? You got
Yeah,
to
yeah, right,
Got to have an
right.
alphabetical order. So those are my counties, and I'm in those communities every day. I'm working, meeting with companies, going out talking to folks. But yeah, here based in Jackson.
And is it a job? Is this a private company or is this a state organization?
Great question. So Ohio has a unique model in its economic development. So
Okay.
actually, liquor funds economic development in Ohio. So it's not tax money.
By God, Chad, we've done our part.
We're doing our part. Yeah,
You owe us.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Hey, we've done a nice job. Yeah.
every time you're taking a drink, you're helping create a job. So you can just
Hey,
you can think about that.
Think how many think how many shifts we've added.
Yeah. I
out
mean,
there. We're putting men to work.
that's right.
Amen. Amen.
But add that to the resume.
yeah.
Economic prosperity.
Yeah.
So so it's really unique, right? Because we have that private funding source. We're not reliant on annual budgets from the state
right.
government, things like that, right? We work really closely with the state government. We work with the governor's office. We work with folks in all the departments that help regulate things. But it's a private nonprofit group, Jobs Ohio. I'm sure you've heard of.
Oh, yeah.
And our group is Ohio Southeast Economic Development, and our funds come from liquor. So it's a really
See, I
good
didn't realize that. I thought it was like 100% state funded.
No.
I didn't realize it was
It used to be.
private, but it's
used
not
to
for
be.
profit, correct?
It's not for profit.
Yeah, okay,
right?
okay.
It's not for profit. Yeah, it's been private for about 11 years now.
That's a neat model. I mean, is that are we unique?
Unique in the country. It was
Okay.
the first model of its kind. It's the envy of the country because what happened when all these states went into COVID lockdown and their odd things happened with their budgets. I mean, they had to tell companies, hey, look, we can't. We're kind of closed for business right now.
That was probably one of the first things that wound up getting pinched or squeezed.
Yeah, right.
Was that
Right, because you're not. Yeah, it's not. It's not a direct like healthcare service or these
Right,
other things
right.
you have to fund. Right.
Right.
So we were able to put the pedal down.
My God, as a parent of an 8-year-old with a family and moving through life, the best thing I ever did was download the McDonald's app. What a breeze. Order for your family. Pull up. They bring it to you. Easy. Download the app today from McDonald's.
Hey, do you want to help develop your child's athletic ability? Or maybe you want to get off the couch and make yourself a little bit better? They earn the day at AP Prep. Look them up, apprep.info. Well, that's awesome, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of really transformative things happen in Ohio, right? I mean, and we can maybe talk about that a little bit later, but the Honda announcement about an hour from here in Jeffersonville.
Yeah.
Intel, I mean, just a lot of these really really cool projects was because Ohio has that private funding model.
We were kind of still open when they were looking and everybody else was closed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
I know you weren't there the other day, and that's why I called you to yell at you because there you weren't at that meeting, but I was at that Ohio Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I was telling you how good it was. And but we had talked like a week before, and I told you that I was just about meetinged out.
Yeah.
And you had brought some stuff. You and I just kind of got to talking, and you were refreshing me. Like this guy, he's one of those guys that he always keeps the positive.
Well, I mean, speaking of meetings, I bet it's unbelievable how many meetings you have to sit in.
Lots of meetings.
Yeah.
Lots of meetings.
He had the one meeting that I had attended, he had spoken, and he had given some like really like I don't want to say harsh, but like. You didn't bring them, but do you know them off the top of your head, like some numbers that you talked about?
Yeah, I have some of them.
Spit them out.
Yeah, so just to give some context on what we were talking about, right? So why is it important that we have economic growth? Why is it important that we have new jobs? Because there's I hear a lot of people mention, hey, look, it's difficult to find people to work right now. Why do we
everybody says,
jobs?
Yeah, everybody's like, well, you can't find nobody to work.
That's almost become like a cliche. Like everybody says that.
So tell them why.
Yeah. So particularly in our part of the world, it's important to create demand, right? It's a supply and demand component, right? For so long in Appalachia, and this, I'm not just going to talk just about our region, but also Appalachia in general, in other states and everything else. Appalachia hasn't had enough employers to meet the needs for the jobs in the community. So our wages have been stagnant as a result since coal, right? I mean, for 150 years, it's been stagnant for that reason. So that's why a lot of the folks in our region are making less money, right? So the median income in Jackson County, I'm just doing this by memory, but I think it's $48,000. The state number is something like 56. The national number is something like 63. So we're behind where we need to be. So
we're at the bottom of the pole.
Well, not at the bottom. I mean, Jackson County, relatively speaking, compared to Appalachia, is doing pretty well, but we can do better. And the way that you do that is by creating more supply for you create more competition for the workers that are here, thus pushing wages up, right? And that's what everyone wants to see. That's prosperity, right? That's people making more money. That's bringing people that are out of the labor force back into the labor force, right? That aren't working. Our labor force participation number is 49%. I think the national rate's 63%. So we have less than half of the people that really probably could or should be working that are working. That's a big problem, right? I think we all can agree things would be better off if a lot of those people were working.
But
right?
but somebody, I think it was at Stivers.
Yep.
He was talking like
the Ohio Chamber of Commerce is what he's referring to.
Yeah. So he was saying if the average cost of child care was like 103%. If you have more than 2 children, child care then becomes 103% of the average single income. So why work?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Public transit is more than the hourly rate. So why go to work?
So let me see if I'm tracking you here, Taylor. So like the answer is, or what the goal would be, is to create more competition in the area, meaning more quote unquote living wage jobs.
Yep. Bingo.
Okay. Because we've said that many times. I feel like, if we're just talking about this area, there is not a lot of options to go to work and have a living wage.
And go back 20 years when you had all the refractories that, the foundry, Mills Pride.
Oh, yeah.
The mines.
Well, and what I'm saying about a living wage job, I mean that like, hey, man, you go to work and you can afford at least
one new car.
Rent a car. You can get groceries and food on the table and feed your kids.
Yep.
And pay for everything that they need at school.
Now, another thing is, though, we're at housing capacity. Right? I mean, I kind of picked that up from that meeting. We are.
What does that mean?
Well, and I don't want to speak for those guys, but they're a statewide group, right? And Ohio is such a complicated and diverse state. The statements that they're going to make are not representative of the entire state. Okay. They would say the same
you weren't
thing.
there.
I wasn't there either. They weren't saying they weren't. I mean, they wouldn't disagree with what I just said too. I mean. My opinion. Well, first of all, let's compare our housing market to that of Columbus. And I'm trying to be on the table. I have friends that buy $500,000, 1,200 square foot houses in Granville, Clintonville, and they are fixer uppers, paying $500,000 for them. So when I look at our housing market in comparison, I think, we don't have those challenges, right? I mean, and we may not have exactly what you want at the price point that you want it, but if you want to put some work into a house, you can get a good house in Jackson well below market rate.
Well, and you can get get a lot more square footage.
I don't know. I mean, I mean it's climbing.
But the median nationally is like $500,000.
Okay, we're not there. We're not anywhere close to that. But
so Yeah, I mean, it's a lot higher than it's ever been, and I think it's still a bit of a bubble, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. We have a lot of, well, not a lot, but we have some people that are moving here from California and from other regions. They're selling their small house in the Bay Area for $1.5 million, and in that case, pretty affordable market, right? That's an extreme example, but yeah, to go back to what you said a minute ago about the jobs market. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
We want to create more of a competitive environment to raise wages, and something else people don't really think about too. And I'll we don't help all types of businesses. We're not going to just help the retail establishments, the Walmarts of the world, the restaurants. Here's why. Okay, if I go to Walmart, that's not bringing new dollars in the area to Walmart because those dollars are already in the economy. However, let's take a manufacturer, right? Let's give an example of Speyside, which our group helped bring to the region, right? When Speyside came here, they're selling their products all over the place. They're bringing in wood. They're selling their products from all over the place. They could be located anywhere in the United States. They could almost be located anywhere in the world. So those are the companies that we want to help bring and expand because Walmart has to be here. Walmart has to be here. We want to attract those manufacturers, and those manufacturers have, people don't realize there are a lot of good white collar jobs in these manufacturing facilities too. Manufacturing is our bread and butter. That's what we do really well here. We have a super high concentration of manufacturers compared to our population, and there are a lot of good white collar jobs. If you're going to go to college for any type of business degree, you can get a job doing one of those things at about one of our plants here in the area. If you're an engineer, if you're in finance, if you're in HR, if you're in whatever,
accounting,
accounting, you can get a job, and people don't realize that, but it's a huge deal.
So when we're talking about what I was probably the incorrect term, but like a living wage, I mean, are we back to is the median income that we're talking about what is the living wage now, man?
What does it need to be?
What does it need to be? Like, what do you need to make to live in Jackson and be able to do the things we just named? I mean, it probably depends on how many incomes you have, right? I mean,
how many kids,
a lot of variables. I mean, but I would argue, it's not $30,000.
No,
that's too low, man. With the cost of goods and everything else. I mean,
I would think that I sat down with Cardiff at breakfast the other day, and I mean, we were talking about it, and I said, I don't see how you can raise a family or he's got one child. And I mean, this was just he and I talking.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't see how a guy like that can put food on the table, clothes on the backs, and go to baseball and go to dinner. And I'm not saying have everything you want, but I'm not saying want for much.
Right.
I mean, be able to have them that just live.
Right.
And I don't see how you could do it for anything less than 45.
Yeah. I was thinking the number would be somewhere around there.
Yeah.
45, 50, I don't know.
Which is what, right around $29 an hour, somewhere around there.
I think I might be a little
high. Yeah.
Well, and you said the median income in this area is $48,000. So that's
that's household.
Oh, that's household.
That's about right. I mean, I mean, I was just saying, because he was at a situation. I'm not going to name where he was at, but he was in a situation where I felt like he was not making as much money as I thought that he should be making. He's got a degree, and I said, hey, let's talk about what you need. I said, you like to go to these travel ball things, and I said, you like to do this, and I said, if you want to go do what everybody else is doing, then you need to figure out how much you need to make to do that.
Right.
And I mean, I don't mean this pickle. I'm not picking.
Oh, no. But, I mean, but listen, that's a dilemma.
Yeah.
That you face in the job market.
In the job market.
Here.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not easy to because of, it sounds to me like that I didn't realize this. I mean, that, you need competition to drive wages up.
Yeah.
And, how many different companies in this area are going to compete for that guy?
Well, I would think and there again, with a degree and his experience,
Well, yeah.
I would think he would be highly,
absolutely.
attractable right now, or
Sure.
attractive for a job right now.
Yeah, and I think what happened. So I think what happened in 2006, right? When we lost Meridian and we started to lose a
I was
lot
one
of
of
these
those
jobs
guys,
that we're
yeah.
talking about, right? What started to happen was we had a surplus of workers and we just had a dearth of jobs, right?
Yeah.
That has changed.
What's a dearth?
A lack of.
Lack of.
Lack of, yeah.
Verbiage, smart.
Yeah. Well,
smart side of the family, Chad.
Yeah. Well, you got to enjoy a little bit of colorful language like that.
Well, yeah.
It lets me know this guy is in a lot of meetings because you know what? You've got to change up the vocabulary like that. I say nice.
Well, he was
because it keeps you going, man. I mean, to me, that keeps me interested.
He
I love
reads.
it. Well, yeah, you can tell that.
Yeah.
I like it.
You got to go a little bit further when you're in Columbus and you're in the Appalachian the meeting.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's
be
right.
like,
That's right. Yeah.
Dearth.
Yeah. You can't let these guys. I mean, they're all going to prejudge.
But
They hear our accent. Our accent, and they're
He
kinda
was
like,
the president of the Ohio State University.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's not forget that.
Yeah, that's true.
He's kind of a big deal.
Well spoken. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Didn't start out that way. Got made fun of a lot before that point.
yeah.
Good, Taylor.
Well, I taking it back to what we were just talking about with the kind of the imbalance of jobs and what was available in the area. I mean, that's changed now. We've had some really big expansions from area companies. New companies are coming into the area, and that's created a lot of upward pressure for a lot of these wages. That doesn't just happen, right? I mean, these things don't happen in a vacuum, and I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a housing market in Jackson that's really strong. You're seeing seeing more people renovating their homes. You're seeing people that are doing pretty well, right? I mean, it takes a lot of different factors, but I think that's a huge contributor.
Is a lot of it expansion with current companies that are already here, just hiring more?
80% of economic development projects are the result of an existing company expanding.
Okay.
But
So say it again.
80% of economic development projects, right? Major capital investments, we are adding people. 80% of those are 80% of what a community will win are current companies expanding. But there are examples of new companies that have come into the region. I probably shouldn't name specific companies on the podcast, maybe necessarily, but we know good companies that have come to the area that have added hundreds and hundreds of jobs that have been a really good thing for the area.
Yeah. Any of them coming soon?
Yeah. Some are coming soon.
Some are coming soon.
Now another thing I've heard, Taylor.
I tried to put him on the spot.
Yeah. He won't do it. He's slippery. Yeah, he's not going to do it.
He won't crack.
So if we do keep it generic like this, I mean, let me ask you this. Is there been I feel like there's always been a stigma perhaps on this area or Appalachia at large that it's an underqualified workforce, or that, for lack of a better term, those people don't even want to work, man. We can't put our business there because they don't even have enough people there. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I know what you mean.
The criticism I'm talking about there.
I think a lot of the criticism is from people that live here. I don't think that's
okay.
Yeah, because we have conversations with, in some cases, Fortune 500 companies, leadership in these companies, and they look at our labor trends. They look at how far people are willing to drive in this area for work, and they're like, "We can't. This is crazy." That's why that's our biggest advantage, actually.
Good.
Here's a fun fact, right? So if you take we cover 25 counties in Appalachia, our group does. Mm-hmm. The top 20 of those communities that have the largest share of workers that travel 90 minutes one way for work, okay? Mm-hmm. So a guy coming from Jackson going to Cincinnati every day. The proportion of the workforce of folks that drive 90 minutes one way for work every single day, our region has all top 20 in the state.
Wow.
Every single one of the top 20. And you think about that. So if you're a company and you need to hire 50 people,
you can cherry pick.
You can cherry pick them, right? Because if you've got 2,000 people leaving Jackson County driving at least 40 minutes one way, right? They can go to their kids' football games, do whatever, right?
Yeah,
they'd love to do that. So that's the biggest stat that we use, and it really is interesting to people. So I feel like that's more of a perception of people.
Yeah, a myth.
Yeah,
kind of.
I would say.
I just I've heard people, or I don't even know. Maybe it was my own perception, but it's just like you feel as though they kind of look at us like, I don't know about that workforce there, man. I don't know.
That meeting I was in last week, and 41 years, and not as many probably as Taylor, but I've been in a lot of meetings, and that was the first time, and it was so refreshing. Larry Kidd put it on, and it was so refreshing. It was not about the opioid crisis, and it was not
the stuff that
it was just so
positive.
refreshing, and it was like, oh, hey, whoa, there's some people that get this. Like they had 6 main areas that they were trying to break down about, the 6 areas that they were trying to focus on to bring to this area or bring to the state, know.
Yeah.
And it was just really interesting how these numbers all correlated, and like people were starting to get it.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's the top 20 of these are coming from this region.
Yep.
And these guys can cherry pick here.
Yeah.
We've got like that intel. They talked about, hey, we got the intel because of our water table.
Yeah.
That was a huge swing in that, right?
Can I talk about the intel thing for a second?
No,
Because
no, Taylor.
nobody
wants to hear about it.
Yeah, people. I was in I was not in Walmart. I was in McDonald's, and I heard a couple guys.
Wait a minute, real quick.
And I will talk about McDonald's in a second. I will talk about McDonald's in a second. But I said Walmart again. I meant McDonald's. But I was in McDonald's and heard a couple of these older guys talking about the Intel project in Columbus. And I was thinking, how often do and I mean, these are just good old boys,
Yeah.
And I thought, how often do a couple good old boys from Jackson County talk about an economic development project a ways away and realize the significance, right? So people really understand how big of a deal it is. But to talk about McDonald's, Mr. Brad Munn, I found out about the app, the McDonald's app, where I could pick up my food from this podcast. That's not a joke. I'm not just saying that for Jason. That's the truth. Yeah. So, I mean, your advertising's working. It's.
I think it's time to add another
I say
spot.
double down. I say double down. Yeah.
Actually, Munn, this advertising's working, Munn. Munn, come on.
Yeah. Well, and Munn, if I can just chirp in there a little bit, like today, I pull in there, every spot was taken. You know what that means?
It's
time to add another spot.
It is.
Hey, let's get 10 parking places over there.
I think he already does.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've added a couple times, I know, but today all of them were full.
He actually was supposed to be figuring out how many people once we started talking about the app.
Yeah.
He can break that number down. McDonald's can do that.
Oh yeah.
And I'd like to know.
It's compelling. The app's compelling. So if you're watching this, download the McDonald's app. It's fantastic. I just got a free quarter pounder on Friday. So it'll pay dividends.
And don't wait in that drive-through line anymore.
Just drive by.
I mean, I see all these people. Yeah. I see all these people that get sideways about mad at somebody cutting them off in the drive-through. It's 2 lanes. It's like, well, okay, but why are you doing that?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What are you doing?
It's all at your thumb.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Intel.
Yeah.
Okay, so where is the plant going to be?
So the plant's going to be in Licking County, so east of Columbus, right? And for those that don't know, right, microchips, called semiconductors, huge business.
Microchips. So these are going in like trucks, cars, planes,
phones. I mean, anything with electronic circuitry to it, right? So this plant is going to be the very first plant like this in the entire Midwest, and it's going to be the largest one in the world. The projections are that the complex will be the largest one in the world. The semiconductor industry is supposed to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry in the next few years. And so, some people might be thinking, okay, plant east of Columbus, why is that relevant to us? What this does is kind of resets the narrative about Ohio, because for a while we've been the Rust Belt, right? We've a lot of steel, coal, whatever. The industries of yesterday that have passed us by. This is as high tech as it.
And people didn't want to come here because of the long term effects of the Rust Belt.
Yeah, right. This resets that whole narrative, right? So now all of a sudden, because we win this Intel plant, everybody's thinking, well, we got to put Ohio on the list. When you're thinking about building a new facility, no matter how complicated it is, right?
Right.
And these jobs at Intel, the average wage is $135,000 a year. That's average. And that's a lot of production workers, too, that are in that mix. So these are highly technical, highly specified, highly skilled individuals. And There's going to be 2,000 of them initially, 10,000 construction jobs, and their plan is to keep adding on. And you guys hear people talk about when Honda came, when Jackson County and Jim Rhodes brought Honda to Ohio, they brought a supply chain network. The same thing's going to happen in Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't know the number of companies.
Pallets, cardboard boxes.
Well, more complicated than that. Chemical companies that make the chemical components in these things. I'm talking about big time manufacturers that are set up shop here. So
what does that do? Like, how does that spider web out and like possibly hit Jackson?
We are very prime. We're really primed to compete for some of those suppliers, but we need new sites.
Right.
So people ask me, why aren't more companies coming to? People have asked in the past. We've had some good wins in Jackson, but people have asked, why aren't more people coming to the area? Well, we lack the inventory. We lack the real estate to bring these companies here. Because if an Intel supplier said, hey, I need 75 acres that's flat with rail and utilities, I'd say, well, I don't have anything in Jackson County. I can show you something somewhere else, right? So we're really primed to win suppliers. We do need to develop some more sites. But another thing that's going to happen too is this is going to put so much wage pressure on the companies in the Columbus area and some of these other places. They're going to have to start looking at alternative labor pools like Jackson, like areas south of Columbus, to maybe put their expansion or to move a portion of the facility. Or rather than doing an expansion in Grandview or Westerville, they say, why don't we look south for our next plant?
Yeah,
right?
we might go down and look at that old DT&I shop or
whatever. Whatever, right? So, so Ohio won the big Intel deal, and then right after that, we win the Honda project, where we're going to add 2,200 jobs in Jeffersonville to make all of Honda's batteries for all their vehicles, right? And that again, as the country's transitioning from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles, we've got a lot of engine supply chain pieces in Ohio, so we had a lot to lose. So if we don't play defense on some of those pieces, we're in bad shape. But not only do we play defense, we want a huge project that's about an hour from here. The outlet malls. About an hour from here. Those are going to be really good jobs.
People drive over to Washington or for Walmart distribution every day.
About the same distance.
Yeah.
About the same distance. These are going to be great jobs here very long term. And again, it puts Ohio on the map and in a position to say something's going on there, right? That's not happening in Indiana. That's not happening in Pennsylvania. For our neighbors, West Virginia, that's sure as heck not happening there, or in Kentucky. So I have to just credit the state leadership for getting these deals done. It's amazing.
So are you saying that like anything like that comes to Ohio, let alone central or south central Ohio, is it one of those situations where the boats kind of rise with the tide?
Absolutely.
Like everything, like the more money that comes into that, the higher the wages there. It will even not to use the Reaganomics, trickle down, but like it will actually trickle south into our area.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt. Because, I mean, if Intel's paying $135 and you're in Columbus and you're starting your people out at $30 an hour for production manufacturing, and you can come south and pay $25, which we all agreed at this table is more than what you could expect in manufacturing here, and you can raise a family on that, and you can frankly pay less and move down here. It's a great value proposition.
Well, yeah, because the cost of living is much lower.
And I hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, but it's like I think we'd all be happy with 100 new $25 an hour jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd all be happy with that. So
we've also, I don't know if this is going to, I hope this doesn't rub anybody wrong, but I think there's also been some determination that we're not paying enough. Like a lot of employers, there's been a lot of, they need to realize it's time to come off.
Yeah.
If you're paying minimum wage and having trouble, doing some things, it's probably time to reconsider that.
Well, I mean, my thing is always like, okay, if you're going to bitch about turnover and the labor market, what are you paying people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's a self-inflicted wound, pal.
No doubt. And how you treat people too.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are they working 7 days a week? Double time?
I just, you wonder though, like if people, they're definitely not, people aren't wanting to work like, I think they aren't wanting to work like madmen like they used to. Now, I think you still go into some plants and you're still going to see some guys that they'll work 7 days a week if you let them.
Right.
Those guys are still out there. Those people are still out there.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, people would just love to just have some work-life balance.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
I mean, why do you have to go so hard in 2022? I mean,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's become, with the next generation in the labor force, it's become more important to them to have a work-life balance. And, I'll tell you, I think that a lot of the young kids coming out of school right now, I mean, I know because I've interviewed some of them, man. I mean,
wouldn't you have one in school?
Oh yeah, I got one there, but then I've also in my work. I mean, when we look at people, I mean, they're coming out, man. These guys they know what they want to make, and when I was 25 years old, I wasn't making that much money. I wouldn't have even dreamed of asking for that. But like the market has changed, and companies want these people in them. So,
Yep.
And I feel like some of them might be a bit skewed on how much they think they should make at first, but I think it is changing. The cost of labor for companies is up.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
big time.
Yeah,
number one contributor to inflation.
Yep, it is up. Yeah, yep. I mean, because you can't get good people for no money. I mean,
and if you look, and I'm saying this in defense of the working people who, a lot of people are complaining about. They've gotten all these pay raises recently and these pay increases over the last few years. If you look over the last 40 years on the working man jobs compared to inflation, they haven't got a pay raise in 40 years. I mean, it's like
because it's just right along the line.
Seriously,
cost of living.
Yeah, it's stagnant. I mean, you think about what people like. When my parents worked at Marilat in the 80s. I mean, you compare those wages then compared to adjusted with inflation today, man. People are making less in many instances, right? Yeah. So, I think a lot of what we're experiencing.
What do you blame that on? You're probably one of the smartest. I don't want to say political, but you kind of are. What do you blame that on?
It's a compliment. Wow. I don't know how to take a compliment from you, man. It's typically the other direction. I'll tell you what, I think this is what's happened. It's been a supply and demand imbalance. Yeah. People can pay people less, so they did. And that's capitalism. I'm not
any company. I mean, they obviously want to pay the bottom dollar for the best result. I mean, that's what they're going to do. And I mean, I think the labor force kind of lets them get away with it.
Yep. And maybe our labor force, during that whole opioid thing, maybe it did suck.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's gotten beat up over the years too, man.
Well, we had a few. We had some bad luck. We had the demise of coal, and we had Marilat was a family-owned company paying really frankly, probably better wages than they needed to pay. They sold to Mills Pride in Masco, which is a major company that shut them down, essentially, right? Because a lot of these companies that are publicly traded or owned by private equity firms, they're just trying to squeeze every
They just bought
penny
up the inventory just to squeeze them out.
Or to kill competitors. So they're not thinking about the community. They're not thinking about the workers. They're not even thinking about productivity. They're thinking about market share.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part of what's happening. And in our area from 06 to like probably 14, we just got killed. I mean, the A plant. We haven't talked about the A plant declines as well, right?
Yeah.
Coal, A plant, Meridian, Marilat. I mean, we could keep going on and on.
Yeah.
But
the lumber,
the global recession too, right? In 2008.
Right.
I mean, you had a lot of other companies that declined.
But we lost a lot of companies, man.
Lost a lot of companies.
But I mean, it feels like, and I mean, it sounds like, hey, man, we might be coming out of this a little bit. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, it's guys like him. I mean, I hate to toot his horn too much.
Well, that's great, man. I mean, it's like, hey, man, I would love for people to be able to. I mean, hey, the three of us still live in Jackson, right?
Yeah.
I would love for people that are from Jackson to stay in Jackson, man, and have a job that is a living wage. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. So it's changing big time, and I think we are pretty big beneficiaries of COVID. Okay. Because probably the biggest policy we all can agree on that happened out of COVID was work from home.
Oh yeah.
So if you're somebody, and I don't want to name them, but I know people and graduated people that are coming back that have really big time salaries at other places, and they're coming back here, and the houses here are so cheap compared to these other markets around the country, right?
Oh yeah, your house in particularly. I mean, you put your house in Granville, you got a $900,000 to $1 million house, $900,000 to $1 million house.
Yep.
Victorian home on South Street. I mean,
Yeah, and it's a no-brainer, right? And if you were a white-collared person just 7 or 8 years ago that wanted to have a job here, your options were much slimmer than what they are now. So you've got I graduated in 10. You've got a lot of almost all of my classmates that I ran with, they're all back. I mean, that my parents couldn't say that. A lot of people couldn't say that before, but we're back because it's a great place to live, especially. I mean, you got Amazon too. Anything can be at your door in 2 or 3 days. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a huge deal as far as amenities. But on the manufacturing side of things and the workforce and the companies that we have here, they're getting stronger. There are really good companies moving into the area that are diversifying things, and you have these really big projects around the state, and we're competing for some like that too. By the way, it doesn't take a big win to really move the needle in Jackson. I mean,
I bet it wouldn't. I mean,
you bring 5 people that make $100,000 a year in Jackson.
you know it.
That changes things.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't take a whole lot to really make a big difference compared to a bigger market, right? And those things are already happening. So I think we are really poised for growth. And I think the next thing that we're going to see really take flight is a lot of these white collar folks who can work from home because we've got more broadband being expanded.
I just got it. I just got fiber.
Did you really?
I just got
At your
fiber.
house?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I if someone's listening, would love to start up a co-working space in downtown Jackson. I think
there's.
great.
You know what? I was gonna lead you into that next.
Yeah.
So I'm down here now. I mean, it took you 9 months to finally get down here.
Oh gosh.
You know, to finally come see his cousin. It took him 9 months to come. You know, he talks about all this development. And here I'm down here. You know, I've done exactly what I'm supposed to do. For cousin Taylor, I've making all this commerce. Down here.
Yeah.
And he never comes to see me. But what do you think they ought to do down here?
Yeah, so I think.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm getting out of it.
You're getting out of it.
I'm shutting. I'm just checking out. I'm gonna be in the woods.
You were on the road to being a model citizen too. You say all these things, and then you just take a step back. Yeah. So there's this model, right, where a lot of people that don't have broadband service, right, they wanna have a place where they can interact with people. Maybe they work from home. I work from home, and I can relate to this myself. You want to have a place where you can interact with people, you can do your work, have good fiber access, and kind of almost have like coworkers and people around you, but you still got your own like private office space. You've still got a place to collaborate. That's happening all over the country. If you've heard
like
of
Larry's,
WeWorks,
like Commons.
Yeah, it's very similar to what Larry has at the office. Commons.
I love the Commons.
Yeah, it's a great model.
Yeah.
It's a great.
Well,
concept.
I mean, I think that what COVID did. I mean, I was in a position prior to COVID where I was still working out of a home office, but like it was like when COVID hit, I think the companies realized like, wait a second, why are we paying for all of these buildings?
Yeah.
When you know what, our people that we thought weren't going to be productive from home are actually more productive.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
happier.
Yeah. It's like, and we don't need to buy toilet paper and coffee and soap and
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to see a massive move away from. Boy, I would not want to have a ton of like office space, corporate office space. Leasing.
Yeah, like
that.
one, flagship. I would rather have common office space.
Sure, absolutely. But
because
I would not want to be renting to IBM. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because you struggle in the summertime. There's no way you and I can do it in the summertime.
It's rough.
In the summertime, I gotta have a place to go. I enjoy it down here, but I treat it just like I did down at Larry's. I'm not really a walk-through type of deal. I'm more of an appointment type of situation. It works out good for that. I would like to see more. I would like to see like a state or something come down here, something with maybe 20, 30 people that could disperse in and out. And the courthouse could, but they don't. I don't know why. Maybe they could, or I don't know. But maybe something with a little bit more freedom, maybe.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like to let their workers be remote, kind of a thing.
Well, no, I'm saying I would like to see maybe some buildings bring in. We don't honestly. I'm probably bad for down here. I mean, even though I try to go to different places, but we need 20 of me that go to all these places every day to eat lunch, breakfast.
Right.
and keep it going, keep it vibrant, keep it, keep it hopping.
Yeah.
Because you've got everything you need down here, really. I mean, you got plenty of places to eat. You got plenty of places to drink.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the pendulum is swinging back in favor of the downtown.
We need some entertainment. We need some.
Sure.
You've got plenty of places to eat and drink. You just need some places for some stuff to do.
Yeah,
well, I think there needs to be more people spending money, probably downtown, for that to happen. I would guess.
Yeah.
So here's like the case study that we use. Chillicothe, great downtown, right?
Oh,
fantastic downtown. 9 years ago,
not so much.
Not so much. What changed? The Carlisle building renovation, right? What is that? The corner of Paint and Main. Yeah, Paint and Main, right in the corner.
Paint water. Paint water.
No.
Paint and water.
Paint and water.
Yeah, it's on water and paint. Right there by Yoctangi.
No, not that.
No, not that one. No, you're right. Yeah,
this is the red one.
The second. Is it second?
I think it's Main and Paint.
Okay, whatever you say.
Main and Paint.
You're smart.
But so that was a Jobs Ohio project. We helped redevelop that building. Adina has a number of employees there. They have their residents in there. They travel. They have a nice, and that really kickstarted a lot of things. It kickstarted a lot of these businesses that are open downtown because you've got residents spending money, you've got Adina Foundation people spending money, and then that turns into more people coming downtown, which means more people with money. So you need something like that to happen in Jackson. You need something to kind of kickstart that, and it's really probably going to be somebody taking a big risk to put 30, 40 people downtown with some money.
It is. Yeah, well, it's going to take a larger corporate entity.
Yeah. Health system, something like that.
I think it's going to take like that group that's in Galplis. I think it's going to take like a group of private that's like a non-profit, but it's going to take like some private funding to just start going in, taking these buildings with their own ideas. Because one thing I've noticed, if you see this in those rooms, you get too many chiefs and no Indians. And I mean, you get just loads and loads and loads of opinions, and then it just fizzles out. I mean, or people get mad, and I'm that guy, and it's like, you need something to get done, and that's the path that's hard. It seems
so hard
to get anything done. I don't know how you stay at those things long enough to get these things done. I mean, I was even talking with Bo a little bit just about, recent stuff. And I mean, I didn't have any idea how long some of these things have been in the works.
Man.
Well, I mean, I think like the corporate dollar is such a tough one to grab, man. I mean, and especially down here, I feel like when we're going after it, we're really punching above our weight. Boy, when we get a win, it's sweet.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pieces and probably a lot of time that have to go into place to grab that buck. Yeah.
Years. It takes years for these deals. I mean, years, and it's tough.
Yeah, you got to be patient.
You got to be really patient.
Yeah.
And I think probably one of the reasons why Southern Ohio has lacked in the past, why we haven't moved as forward, is because we've kind of expected people from the outside to get something done for us. I mean, You think about, we love Jim Rhodes, we love Vern Rife, but, they brought a lot of things here. It didn't take a lot of people from the ground up doing it. You know what I mean? And I don't.
It's a different day.
Yeah, we're living in a new environment. Yeah.
I don't know that we ever have learned to really flex our muscle and kind of do it our own.
Grassroots.
There are, of course, fantastic people in the community that do great things for the area. I'm not saying they don't, but we need some more of what you're talking about, of people getting together, having some collective buy-in, and making some things happen. And that's happening around the region. I mean, Portsmouth has a really great group called Friends of Portsmouth. They've broken 3 world records. If you guys have driven down to the Boney-Fiddle district in Portsmouth, it is fantastic. The amount of money that they've put into it, they've just redeveloped it. There's good stuff happening, but it takes a lot of money, a lot of attention, and it takes no egos. I mean,
where Taylor Lake, where is that money? Is it in a private individual's pocket? Where is that money?
I think it's going to take a mix of private individuals donating, some local philanthropic type money, either through a foundation or through
endowments.
Whatever, something like that.
Are grants or anything like that on the table? Through the state or Fed?
Man, there's so much money available for that type of thing. It's just you have to have somebody formulate a plan to get it done and bring some other things.
And it doesn't happen in a year. They're 10, 20-year plans.
And some of the stuff can take a lot less time than that. I'll give a shout out to Sam Brady. in something that he did with the Meridian site. All right. So he used grant money from Jobs Ohio to buy that property and to redevelop it that was just sitting there for maybe not 10 years, but I think it sat there for at least 8 years where there was no structure on it or anything, right? And he had to bring together his part of that money to match with that grant. We gave him $1.7 million and he matched that with local dollars, got the job done, got it taken care of, right? It's going to take something like that, and that's really difficult and really hard.
Yeah.
It takes people to do things like that.
And
It's risky too.
It's vision.
Vision.
Yeah. And knowing, and I mean, then things have to be lined up. And then, I mean, it's a lot. It's
that Adina Carlisle project, I want to say it was like $12 million.
Yeah.
It was something like that. I mean, and this is Adina just basically saying, we're going to spend the money. It doesn't really help our bottom line too much. I mean, they're doing it basically for the community, and it takes things like that to happen.
Yeah.
So when people say, why don't we have the nice things that Columbus has? There are a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is we don't have those corporate dollars floating around. So we've got to make what we've got count.
Yeah.
And to do that, we've got to work together, collaborate, and work with really good tools that we have locally, regionally, at the state level.
Yeah.
And just like I said the other day, to kind of conclude all that is, for the first time in all this time, somebody's decided that's what they're going to do. It's like they're at least moving in that direction now.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the first time you've seen them actually get over the hurdle. Here's the plan. They're going for it now. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh wow, okay, game on.
Yeah,
good to go.
Great.
What else you got to say? Anything else you want to talk about? You perfect stepchildren, you.
We're not perfect.
I know your brother and sister are. You're pretty perfect though. Yeah, I mean, you guys never screwed up. It's awful.
It's not true.
It is. Yeah, I get compared to you guys all the time. It's horrible.
Who compared you to us?
Mom, the rest of them, It's awful being your guys' cousin. I mean, me and Zach and Boo and Alex.
Gosh.
Boo, see, even those guys, they've got it tough. You guys make it hard on us.
Yeah, it's tough to keep up.
Did you have his dad in school?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite teachers. Man.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think I'd have made it through chemistry if not for his dad.
I never had the smart classes. I never had chemistry.
No, he was. I had him for chemistry, and it seemed like I had him for another science class or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they got science.
He was always one of my favorites, man. He made it interesting.
Yeah.
I heard a story the other day. Somebody was saying they had my dad in class, and I said, give me one good story. He gave me 3 or 4, but the first one he gave me was, he said, we came into your dad's class. It was chemistry. Mm-hmm. The lights were off. We couldn't even really see him. He was kind of in the corner, like behind the TV, like slumped down. Mm-hmm. And we all go into the class, first day of school. Nobody said anything, pitch black. We can barely see your dad. And he just says after a few minutes, prove that I'm not God. And they went through this whole exercise. It was geometry. Yeah. They went through this whole exercise of proving postulates, if you remember.
Yeah.
What's true and what's not. And you've got to make it real. So so basically what he did, you'll appreciate this. He was trying to do the funniest, stupidest thing that he could do and reverted it back to a real life example and screw with people in the process. And it's something that they never forgot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. He's by far the wittiest person I've ever known in my entire life.
It was funny. Like he would, Mr. Bowman had, Charlie. Rest God rest
R.I.P.
in peace. Yeah, R.I.P. But he was the other chemistry teacher, so they kind of shared that room a little bit. And I remember my class, we were in there one day, and he goes, "Now, Mr. Bowman's going to be coming in here. He wears a hearing aid." He goes, when he comes in, I want everybody in the class to just start going, just a nice low hum.
Yeah, right.
And he goes, let's see if we can make him think that his hearing aid, he goes, if he reaches for his ear and adjusts, we win.
He wouldn't make it today. There's no way.
No way.
But man, I mean, you're talking about, there was never a boring day. Because it's kind of like he knew, like, you know what, man, we're not going to go hard today. We're going to have a little fun today.
He could tell.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I got probably the ultimate. Can I tell the story about the kid?
Which one?
I'm telling it. I won't give any names. There was this kid, and he just shot himself. Mm-hmm. and the chin.
I know which one this is. Yeah.
And that was like 1 year. The next year, we all had the same class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Stepp comes in. You know, that kid was saying something. And he comes in and he goes, "Bud, you shooting off the mouth again?"
Oh my God! Wow, beauty.
He didn't mean to say that.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he
Freudian
was so
slip.
smart.
Freudian slip.
That's the stuff of that's the stuff of legends.
Yeah,
right there.
I mean,
that's awesome.
I mean, there was just always stuff like that he would do. I mean, oh man, you've got that wit. I tell you, who else has got that wit? Gibson.
He does.
Gibson's got it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's. I wish Bill. How old were you whenever Grandpa Bill died?
Wasn't born.
Wasn't born.
He
yeah.
named me though.
Did he?
He named me. Because he called my mom Taylor. And that's how I got my name.
Okay. All right. You would have liked Grandpa Bill.
Yeah.
Grandpa Bill was a dandy man. Man, you probably didn't know him.
No.
Yeah. So I've spent a ton of time with Taylor's dad and mom. They were basically they were there every day that I was, and I was there at the house with Grandpa Bill. But then whenever Taylor was born, you were born in 91 or 90? 92.
Close,
Yeah. And you was a Jauntus. You were the first Jauntus baby that I remember. That's probably why you're so smart. I think all Jauntus baby. Were you Jauntus baby?
I don't think so, man.
Do you remember that? Did you know that you were a Jauntus baby?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Spent
I
time
remember.
under the light.
You were about. You were like the color of this tape. Well, you were about the color of that guitar. I remember that.
Man.
I can remember that like it was yesterday.
Really?
Oh yeah, I can remember holding you, and you would just be yellow. I remember them telling me that, and I was like, "Oh, this is a Jauntus baby." Because I was like 10 or 11. So, everything else good with you? Is this your first podcast?
I think I've done a few.
You
This
have
is fun.
one, right? Do you have a podcast?
Yeah, well, it's not a podcast, but I've got a couple things I think you're referencing. One is a website called Our Stream, and I'm a Christian, right? I'm really
Always have
passionate
been.
about my faith. Yeah, and we found that given social media and given all these different resources that are out there, man, if you need a good sermon on healing or on faith or whatever, right? We wanted to find some of those really awesome resources, put them online so that if you're looking for something like that's issue specific in a time of need, or if you just feel like you need a touch from God, we put those online so that people can reach out to those, and music and a variety of other things, because sometimes we all need that little encouragement or something
what's that
to
called?
Really speak to us. OurStreamFaith.com.
So, like, give me like an issue. So, like, let's say, give me an issue. Give me an example.
Healing. Healing.
Okay.
If you need to listen to a sermon on healing, we have podcasts, we have videos, we have sermons that you can break down in the healing category, and we've probably got 10 or 15 right now that you could go online and check them out. So it's just a cool resource we put together. And another thing I'm really passionate about is community here in Jackson. I mean, aside from the co-working and the economic development, all the other community type pieces, man, it's just tough to do life without other people. I mean, I think anyone would agree to that, right? So I've had a small group Bible study type group that's been meeting in my house for about the last 4.5 years since I came back to Jackson, and we get together every other Thursday. And whether or not you're somebody that's really like going after your faith, or whether you just need some people to be around, we're open to anybody that wants to come over and connect with us. Reach out to me. But I think a lot of the problems that we see in the world right now are a result from people just kind of being lost, lost from community, lost in their faith. And I don't mean this negatively at all, because I think we've all been there at one point or another, but it's just easier to do life with people that are going in a positive direction.
It's been a tough few years, man.
Sure has been.
I mean, and I think you make a good point there.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off of COVID, and COVID was a long year there. I mean, everybody was locked up inside. Went down a lot of rabbit holes, man.
So where can they find you whenever you run for president?
Yeah.
South Street.
South Street.
South Street.
You think you're going to
Yell from Cardos.
You think you're going to run for anything?
I don't know. I thought I was going to. I really did.
You know,
thought I would.
I got to say this. I think people bust on you a little bit because you may not have done what they think you should have done to this point. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that, but now like, oh, he's never worked or whatever. You know, at this stage of the game, you've put in your time. I mean, you grind it out. You're working. I mean, you're out there working a lot harder than most people. I mean, but do you see yourself staying in this realm, or do you see yourself? I think you're always going to be in some sort of public servant role, but I don't know if you'll ever get into politics.
Yeah. You know, I thought I was going to run not too long ago, and
for what? What would you run for?
let's just, you know.
What would you run for?
I want to keep some things. I want to keep some things private. I want to keep some things private. But
state level?
I want to keep some things.
Would it have
private.
been a state level or county level?
You know, there's an opening at the dog warden's office, and I thought that'd be a great place to kind of kickstart things.
You've always had cats.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was really an anti-dog, mentality. I have a problem with dogs.
Yeah.
I don't, for the record. I have a problem with dogs. Yeah. But I was gonna run for office, and I realized,
Not the dog warden.
not for dog warden, but there's so much that can be done in the economic realm. Mm-hmm. There's so much, and I feel like I'm more interested in helping the area than that's the number one thing that motivates me. Yeah, that's the number one thing that motivates me more than anything else. So
well, and what better way to contribute to that with what you're doing right now? I mean,
Thanks.
they're
getting some stuff
awesome.
done.
I mean, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I wish you the best. I mean, keep going, man.
Thanks.
Because it makes us all better. I mean, that's outstanding.
Are you going to come back and be on the podcast? Will you come back and do it again?
Give us an update.
It took me 2 years to get you.
So I'll see you in about 6 years. Right?
We got to get Nathan on here.
Yeah, let's
I want cousin Nathan.
Talk about the Hyperloop.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was supposed to come on last time he was home, but he didn't. He didn't do it. What was he doing? Oh, that was for, what was it, Phil's viewing maybe, whenever he was home. Yeah, that was the last time I saw him. But I'd like to get Nathan on here. I'd like to get any of them on here. So they're all cool. They all got something.
You know who's a deep person?
Who?
Christian. Christian would be a good person to talk through a podcast with.
What can we talk about? Anything?
Anything. He's way smarter than me. I mean, I mean, he brings up things. I'm just like, whoa! I can't even.
Really,
dude? Yeah. He'd be a really good person.
It's not that I'm not doubting you a bit. I mean, Christian knows I love him. I can't get him to even respond to me on a text.
He doesn't respond to any of us on a text. You just have to keep trying.
Okay.
He'd be a good person to have. Yeah.
He's about to get through dentistry school.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. He's
gonna be busy. He'll be good. We'll get him on there.
He's got. We've
talked to a few dentists.
Yeah. He's got a new baby. Mariah's getting ready to have a baby, right?
That's right.
So I'd like to get her on here. All right. Well, hey, Taylor Stepp, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me,
guys.
I'm
really enjoying it.
All right, look him up. He'll probably be a governor or something one of these days, folks. Check out the website, chubbyguyspodcast.com. Check out our sponsors. Hey, we got some new sponsors going to be coming up, too. I got to tell you about that. So check us out, chubbyguyspodcast.com. See you.